Okay, so yesterday we talked about how we're going to, about the different types of terms. So today we're going to talk about multiplying monomials and or distributing a monomial to a binomial. Okay, well, I just said a whole lot. So let's talk about that. Remember, a monomial would be something like 3x or x or -1, okay, or x squared. All of those are monomials because they have one term, okay? A binomial has two terms, so they might be x plus 4 or 3x minus 7 or x squared plus x, okay? Those are all binomials. So today we're going to be dealing with monomials and binomials only. We won't be multiplying binomials times each other. I gave you all some classes I gave the wrong paper, so we're going to take all of our notes in our ISN, so don't worry about the green paper. Keep it though, because we might use it on another day. But we're going to take all of our notes in our ISN, and we're going to use the online tiles today. Okay, so first of all, let's talk a little bit about what. Let's talk a little bit about just some kind of basics to kind of get us up to where we want to be. Okay, so first of all, if I look at this, what is another way that I could write that? Pause for a second and tell me some ways I could write that. Okay, well, I could write it as 9. I could write it as 3 squared. So let's focus on 3 squared for a minute. Okay, 4 times 4 is 4 squared. 5 times 5 is 5 squared. That's a 2. 6 times 6 is 6 squared. Okay, and of course I could work that out and see what I got. X times x is what? Well, if 3 times 3 is 3 squared, 4 times 4 is 4 squared, and so on, then x times x has got to be x squared. And since I don't know the value of x, that would be where I would stop with that. Okay? What about x squared times x? That's a little trickier. Well, if I expand this out, look over here. X squared is x times x. Well, x times x times x is x to the 3rd power. Okay, these are some basics that we're going to need to learn. We're going to learn like a whole bunch of exponent rules later on, but for now, we're just going to be doing some kind of basic stuff like this. So I'm not worried too much. I have x times x times x. That means I have x to the 3rd power. We're just going to do basics like this. Okay, so now that we know that, let's take it a little bit further and let's look at some slightly more complicated questions. Okay, so what about this one? 3x. What's that one going to be? Well, that would be 3x. Okay. What about 5x times x squared? Take a moment and figure that one out for me. Okay, well, that would be 5 times x times x times x, which is 5x to the 3rd. Okay? So now we're going to actually start looking at tiling this stuff. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take just a moment, okay, and we're going to use the tiles. Now, the tiles are on the link at my teacher webpage. So you're going to go to, what's it called? bit.ly/dealmath. And that might be the wrong slash. No, it's not. Okay? That's an H. And then you're going to go to Flip Classroom. Well, and then you're going to look at the calendar, and on the calendar there's going to be the tiles. Okay, so when you first get to this, so take a moment right now and get to those tiles. Okay, so when you get there, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see free play mode. Okay, on iPad, you kind of have to hold it down just slide your finger down a little bit to get the menu to stay open. We want to go to factor mode. Okay, you know you're in factor mode when you see like this top row and this bottom row. It's factor or multiplication, because remember, a factor is a part of so factor times factor equals product. So it's it's one of the two things you multiply together to make when in a multiplication problem. Okay, so we're going to have it in factor mode because we're going to be multiplying monomials or binomials. Okay, so the first one that we're going to multiply, okay, is 2 times 3x plus 2. Okay, so what we're going to do, it doesn't matter where you put whichever one. I mean, I like to put the first one here and the second one up on top. It doesn't matter, honestly. Okay, but you're going to put everything. So this is my first factor, and this is my second factor. Okay, So I'm going to take 2. Those are 2 1s. So I'm going to drag 2 little 1s onto the board. Okay? Then my other factor is 3x plus 2. So I'm going to drag 3 x's and 2 1s. Okay? Now I'm going to look at each of these separately. Okay? And I'm going to multiply them together. So I have 2 times 1x gives me 2 x's. Okay? 2 times 1x is 2 x's. And then 2 times 1x is 2 x's. Or I could have done 2 times 3 x's gives me 6 x's. Okay? So now I've multiplied all of my x's together, x's by 2. Now I'm going to take 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? That is how we multiply. Let me do that again, okay? So I have, whoopsie, I have 2. I'm going to show you that all over again because it's going to be the first time we've taught with these. 2x times, well, 2 times 3x plus 2. Okay, so when I put the factors out, I'm going to put the first factor on one side. It doesn't matter if it's the top or the bottom, top or the left. I'm going to put the other factor in the other space. And now I'm going to start multiplying them together. So I have 3x's times 2. Well, that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. Okay, so 3x's times 2 gives me 6 x's. Now over here I have 2x's times 2, 2 times 2, which gives me 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoopsie, 4. Whoopsie, 4. Okay, this is what we've done up until now. This is straight distribution, but we're modeling it. Okay, and now I count up whatever's down here in my product area. So my factors, product goes here. Well, I have 6 x's plus 4. Okay, because when I distribute this, I get 6 x's plus 4. All right.